And so they do this because at the end of the day, what's happening is that they wanted to arrest him on all of these charges. They've been following him for what, since 2015, watching this man. He's not thinking that he's that extreme. So they bust up in his house. But this was around the time when, remember when homie went to, was it Texas? Was it in Dallas? And he shot up all those police officers, the black man, and they had the dashiki. And he posted this man's picture, and he said that he was his hero, right? Yes, it's Contel Pro all over again. Yes, it is, right? Um, and so they say that the fact that he posted this brother's picture and said he's my hero, right? They said that he was influencing people and to fight against the police or to do violence to the police, right? So this is why they did what they did. They held this man in prison or in jail for 5 months, because there's a difference between jail and prison, y'all. Cat Williams don't understand, right? He was right about that. There's a difference. So this man sat in jail for 5 months, right? He lost his home. He just had a newborn baby. Didn't get to see her for half her life, for first year of her life, half of that. And his son had to go relocate schools. He lost his house and everything else because 5 months can tear a black man's life down, right? He lost his job. He lost everything. So he did pay a price, right? Um, and they said that they thought he was a threat, so they didn't want him to have bail, right? But eventually, the charges were dropped because the court is like, he's not really telling people to go out and fuck police up. The crazy thing is that I tell people to go out and fuck police up. So how do you think they think about me, right? I tell y'all in a heartbeat. I tell y'all in a heartbeat all the time. I would tell y'all shit like, the only thing that makes us respect police officers is the fact that they have that blue badge on, right? That badge and that blue motherfucking suit. But the bottom line is, if you kill a cop, what's gonna happen to you? You gonna die, or you gonna go to prison for the rest of your life. But if you kill a brother, which we doing every day, black folks are doing that shit every day in the hood. What's happening to y'all? Y'all dying, or y'all going to prison for the rest of your life? So if the punishment is the same, why not use your aggression towards the right enemy? That's all I'm saying, right? But I'm saying a whole lot in saying that, right? So this, what I'm saying right now on this video, is much worse than what this man ever did on his damn post, right? And on his page. So they arrested him. Yeah, so if y'all was watching, y'all know they just cut me off. My internet is fine in my house. Everybody else is good, but they cut me off, y'all. They was not liking that. They was like, you talking and telling too damn much. You shut your ass up. I'm telling you. And then I tried to end the video so that I could turn around and I could come right back in, right? They was like, no, you can't end this video. And it kept buffering. It would not let me get back in for a minute. So this is definitely not my connection. This is definitely YouTube. But like I have told many of y'all before, that this is what they do, right? Yeah, this is what they do, y'all. They be quick to try and cut you off when they don't want. No, I did. But anyway, so with that said, they don't like when people like us talk out, right? So we're considered to be black identity extremists. And what I was telling y'all before we got cut off, is that there is, it's called the secretive U.S. surveillance efforts, right? And it is through the FBI. It's called the FBI's Domestic Terrorist Analysis Unit, right? And so at the end of the day, I want y'all to listen to that. The FBI has a domestic terrorism analysis unit, and they're using this unit and they're using their ability to track down so-called black identity extremists. Now, this is all the part of what I want to get into that I'm not going to be able to get there, about us having this fantasy of what revolution is versus the reality of what revolution is and what it will take for us to actually get there. And I don't believe that none of us are really ready. We're really not ready for that shit, right? Because you can't even post stuff. You can't be on Facebook. You can't be on YouTube and say shit and you see the stuff that they do, right? So I want you to know that there ain't nobody right now in this country, right, that is on some over-the-top shit that got millions of black people united that's ready to whoop some ass. There is nobody that is threatening white supremacy at this point right now with that type of a power and that type of a threat. But they are arresting and they are trying to charge regular ass black people like me, like you, that are speaking their mind, right? That are on here speaking out about white supremacy, right, that are on here talking about all the shit that they do, they don't appreciate that. So if they can run this brother, this is what I was saying. I don't believe it was really about that he was doing anything really extreme. I think it was more so about the fact that this brother was a test run, right? Understand that the government, everything that they do, they have test runs, right? Yeah, we have the right to freedom of speech, but not when you're a black person. That freedom of speech in the land of the free and the home of the brave, that shit belongs to white folks, right? It don't belong to us because you're not supposed to be able to speak like you want when you're a black person, right? So that's why this man can't even put up a meme, right? They can't even put up a damn meme, and he can't even say that he agrees because he's tired of all the police brutality, and this man is about to be charged, right? So they dropped the charges against him. But I want you to know that it's not about this brother. It was a test run because we need to run him through the courts. We need to have our first trial for a black identity extremist, see how the court is going to receive this, see how well this shit is going to work, and we have to see how it's going to play out because their goal is to eventually start arresting all kind of black people who are too black. See, that black identity extremist is just a big ass way of saying you too motherfucking black, right? That's what they're telling you. Okay, so this is what it's about. So homie did not go to jail. The court at some point said that they did not have enough to consider this man a domestic terrorist, right? Right? But I want y'all to pay attention to that word. I think it's rather funny that the FBI has a domestic terroristic analysis unit. Now they should have that, right? But what do I tell y'all that the police are all the damn time, right? If you watch me, you know that my definition for the police are the biggest domestic terroristic gang in the United States of America. And their number one target is black people, right? So it's funny to me that the police are the biggest domestic fucking terroristic gang that there is, but yet and still they're up here looking at a brother, right, who just wants to speak about his blackness and he's tired of all the injustice and the oppression and the police. And what the fuck do? They call him a black identity extremist, right? But nobody's talking shit about the police, right? Now, I took a class. So let me tell you from my professional, not only took a class, in leaving school, I did an internship and I actually created a course. And that course was terrorism. So I went quite in depth. I had to study it. I had to put together the curriculum and everything for this course that is taught right now at the college that I graduated from, right? So in putting this together, I studied domestic terrorism a lot. And I would tell you that the police are exactly what that is, right? But I think that it's funny that the unit on domestic terrorism has not labeled the KKK, right? If that's not some extreme ass shit, then what is, right? Right? Nobody has dismantled, nobody has called the KKK out. This fucking FBI unit, right, that's talking about domestic terrorism and shit. These motherfuckers ain't never went after the KKK. So when they gonna dismantle that? Right? Well, we know the FBI and all of them are the KKK. They motherfucking selves. We know that that's what they put on when they take their hoods off. They don't wear hoods anymore. They just walk around and look how the fuck they want to look, and they just be racist as hell. But check this out. When they asked them, I want to quote them and what they said. When they asked them about this unit and why they have this unit, it says that there has been a resurgence in ideological motivated violent criminal activity, and it is stemming from African Americans because of their perception of police brutality. Quote unmotherfucking quote. This is what they said. Now, I would like to break that down because that's a lot to say right there, right? So a resurgence in ideology. So resurgence meaning what? So are you saying that once again, black folks are getting too motherfucking riled up like they used to be when somebody mentioned on the other video earlier? So now we're talking about the COINTELPRO, right? So once before we had an organization within the FBI that was there to take down the leaders in the black community that were there to lead people to some type of a freedom and getting out of oppression and slavery, right? So what they did was they brought in, this is nothing but the new age COINTELPRO, right? And so it's to make sure that no black messiah rises from black people, right? And that is their words, quote unquote. The black messiah is a black man or a black woman. Back then, they probably always assumed it would just be a man. They don't really trust that women can lead people into that. But the motherfuckers got to do some goddamn research on our African history because we have many warrior queens who will put it on your ass and they still a queen. So fuck out of here, right? But I'm sure that they were referring to men more. But the bottom line is the black messiah is any person that will rise up and be a savior and a leader for their people, right? So they are watching all of these people and they are trying to eliminate any of them before they get to where they're going. That's why, as I said earlier, with my Bill Cosby video, now have I led millions of black people into some type of a rebellion against the government, some rebellion against the country? No, I have not done that. But when 2 million motherfuckers is looking at you on your video, and then another million looked at it on World Star Hip Hop, and out of 3 million people, 90% of the black people was like, we agree with you. And I'm saying some pretty rough shit, right? That's a problem. See, it's not about where I am, it's where I can go, right? They're concerned about where I might get to as a black person. They're concerned about where other black leaders might get to in their community. It's not a matter of where they are at this moment. It's a matter of where could they be if we let their ass do the things that they want to do, right? So homeboy Rakim, he was a test run, right? Let's run him through the court. Let's see how it happened because we coming from up. Because what homie did wasn't anything compared to some of the shit that I hear black people say on social media. I'm gonna be real with y'all. The shit that I say, right? As soon as I started talking, the shit I was talking about police and how I don't feel that we need to respect their blue suits, right? At the end of the goddamn day, right? Spending your life in prison or dying is all the same. You just need to choose what are you willing to spend the rest of your life in prison for? What are you willing to die for? Right? That's the only difference. Okay? But when you start talking like that, whoa, we ain't rounding up no gang of people like that, right? So that's why this law has been put out there. But when he said the resurgence and the ideology motivated that violent criminal activity. So this is another thing I want to say. And they say that this is stemming from African Americans. So they're saying black people who are descendants of slaves. Let me make that point too, right? When we talk about descendants of slaves, I say that shit all the time. Do you hear them saying on here? This is a point that I wanted to make too, right? Do you hear them on here saying anywhere just black? They specifically say African American for a reason because you know what that means? That means that you are not Hispanic considered white. That means that you're not Hispanic. That means we're not talking about Afro-Latino. We're talking about African Americans who are descendants of slaves. So when they talk about us on that level, they target us on that level. Understand, they're not targeting everybody who has African ancestry, who has come from other places over into the United States of America. When they're talking about Black Americans, they are talking about us, right? They're talking about us. They're not talking about them other people from other places, right? Because when they come in here, they don't mark African American because that's not what they are, right? So understand they're talking about us. They're specifically talking about the black people who are tired of their bullshit, who their ancestors were enslaved, and we are a product of that enslavement, right? And we are still in this country being enslaved and oppressed today. So that's what they're talking about. So, and this is based on the perception that we have of police brutality. So now it's the perception. Police ain't really out here fucking people up. But I guess the thing that kills me in this statement the most is violent criminal activity.
But that was the last time.
When the fuck have y'all heard about this uproar of police officers being assaulted and killed by black people? When have African Americans become ridiculously violent against police officers, even though we know that they some brutal motherfuckers and they are infiltrated by the KKK? They racist for the most motherfucking part. The goddamn organization and the structure of the system of what it is was founded in slavery, right? It's still the same thing. The niggas got new names, same motherfucking intention. They're slave catchers, right? So ain't shit changed. But tell me when you have heard about black people, because we be like, fuck the police, and we know what they do to our people. Tell me when you have seen an uproar and violence. Have y'all seen black people really like fucking police up? I haven't.
Yeah, he a barker.
Am I missing something?
He started barking first.
Am I? Now I know homeboy Micah, so they say. So they say. Let's talk about that for a minute too. So they say this man named Micah apparently killed all of these cops. But the funny thing is, we didn't see Micah come out of the garage dead, did he? They claim they sent a robot in and they blew him up so there was nobody to bring out. Well, did you bring out some legs on the stretcher? Did you bring out some body parts? Funny thing is, nobody never came forward and said that they knew Micah, that they was Micah's friends. Where's Micah's mama? Where's his daddy? They showed you some little house, but they don't have no history of who the fuck this man is. Nobody came forward and was like, yo, Micah is my homeboy, yo, I never thought he would do this, or yo, that's what. Nobody has come forward to claim this man. We just had a mother in a dashiki with his
Same shit, they do the same.
How the fuck do we even know that Micah existed?
No.
Now I might lose some of y'all there because you're going to start saying, "Oh, you think you conspiracy?" No, I'm telling you, the government is a motherfucking motherfucker in this motherfucker, and y'all better understand who you dealing with. If you ask me, I'll tell you, I don't even really know if Micah ever existed or if they shot them officers they damn selves just so in hopes that they could start a motherfucking uproar, that black people would get angry or that cops or white folks will go against one another because they got them Walmarts waiting for y'all. So we talked about that too? Have we not talked about that? Right? Where them empty Walmarts come from all of a sudden? You think it's really about them immigrant children that's sitting in there? Just like, do you think that it was really about arresting a man under the black identity extremist label because he put up a picture of Michael and called Michael his hero? Or because this motherfucker, because he out there feeding the homeless? Or let me guess, he's having after school programs. He's really a threat. That's not why they arrested Michael. That was a test run, goddammit. Right? Them goddamn Walmarts weren't built to hold immigrant kids, but they testing them, goddammit. Them Walmarts is everywhere. When these immigrant kids got here, was they looking for a place to store these children, or did they already have them prepared and ready? It takes months to build Walmarts. And there's many of them that are empty, that were built, that were never even put into motherfucking circulation for business, right? So do not think that your government does not create bullshit so that they can have the nice little scenario they want you to have, and they feed you what the fuck they want you to think. I don't even know if Michael was real. And I'm going to say that, right? So they're doing all of this for a goddamn test run to see how it works, right? And so now they want you to believe this false narrative in their statement and in the apparently the research that they've done. And their wording is that the reason they have to have these black identity extremists is because of the fact that there is a resurgence. Pay attention to that word. What do you mean resurgence, right? That means something has happened again. So when was the first time that y'all had a problem with black people? That would have been in the civil rights movement. That would have been COINTELPRO. So they're telling you right here, this is the new COINTELPRO. Understand that the structures and the systems in this country, they don't change. Just the names is new. The names do. So this is a new name, but it's the same motherfucking thing, right? And then they're trying to convince you that African Americans have false perceptions of police brutality and that they are becoming violent criminals because of that. I'm telling you, y'all know if black folks was out there busting police in the head or doing things to police, I would be the first one on here like, ha! This is what they ass get. Right? I would be on here telling y'all that shit in a minute. It's not happening. It's a lie. It's a lie. Right? The only people that I see continuously dying, right, are black people. Nobody's killing the cops. So I don't know what the fuck the FBI, Domestic Terroristic Analysis Unit, is fucking talking about. They full of shit. Because none of that statement made any sense, right? It's not legitimate in any goddamn way. Okay? So, in saying all of that, before I go into my next topic, because they did cut me off on my first video and they deleted it. So if you're watching this, you're probably like, what the hell happened? Because I came in and I was like, yo, I don't know what's going on. So if this is your first time watching this show, you have caught me. I am Mechee, your host, Monday through Friday. I'm here. 8 p.m. Eastern, you can catch me. So if you're watching this for the first time, go ahead and subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification button for me, right? And go ahead and tell your mama and them, your grandma and them, and everybody and them about this channel so they can come on over here too, right? You can tell some white folks if you want, if they willing to share my video. They can even share my shit on their Facebook and be like, look at this racist. I don't care to share my shit. I love haters, right? But go ahead and do that for me. We got cut off from the first video. If you're just watching this, wondering what the hell is going on. So I just came back in to pick up where I left off. They cut me off because they was mad what I was talking about up in here. They don't like me talking about white supremacy and police and shit and keeping it real. So my video got messed up. So anyway, I'm back. So this is the second video. I heard that they deleted the first one, so you can't go back and watch the first one. So if you're a little overlap, I'm explaining now. So in saying all of that about the black identity extremists, I want to talk about the second half of what I wanted to bring up tonight. I'm a little over, but if y'all cool, I'm cool because they cut me off. So we're gonna keep it going. But now let's get into the second half of this conversation. Now, in talking about all of that, what I want to talk about now is as black people, we love. Right, and if you're liking this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up, y'all. But as black people, when we talk about all of that they're willing to do just to the black person who will post a meme, who is trying to be active in their damn community, my question to you is, do you really think that we're ready for a revolution? Do we understand what a real revolution is, right? I don't think that we do, and I don't think that we are, and that's not a knock to our people. The bottom line is that I find a lot of us this day and age, like we love this fantasy of let's have a revolution. Like, yeah, we think we just gonna all go in the streets, we're gonna get to marching, and somehow grenades is just gonna appear from nowhere that we gonna have, and we just gonna blow everything up, we gonna set everything on fire, and we just gonna fucking march it out, and we gonna scream it out, and shit just gonna be changed. That's not how any of this works at all. Okay, we are in love with the fantasy of revolution, right? So the revolution at this point kind of goes to this extent. We will write shit on Facebook. We will put shit on Twitter. We will put shit on YouTube. And at the end of the day, none of that really amounts to coming back into other people's into our lives and actually having some substance, right? We're not unified as Black people, and we're really not ready, because if you can't even post a meme on Facebook without going to jail, that's going to discourage a lot of Black people right there and be like, yo, I can't even post a meme. I don't know if I'm really ready for this. I also would like people to do an analysis. You know how when you watch slave movies, right? You go and watch a movie about slaves, right? First thing you do, first you be mad as fuck and you be hating all white people for like beasts. You know what I'm saying? Everywhere you go, you be bringing a white person like, motherfucker, y'all know how it is. After you finish watching Roots or some shit, go watch a slave movie, right? But every time we watch a slave movie, what's the first thing Black people say? They wouldn't have done that shit to me. I couldn't live back then. If that was me, I would have did A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And H-I-J-K, elemental P. Let's be real. We always do that when we watch these videos. But what I want to inform Black people is that we are still enslaved. We are still very much enslaved. If you watch my videos, you know that I've broken down everything to you to tell you we ain't changed. So I'm going to tell you right now. Whatever you're doing right now in the midst of our oppression and slavery is the same fucking thing you would have been doing back then. Right? So, either you would have been in a house, being a house nigga, right? And all house niggas wasn't bad niggas. We always tend to say that. But some of the house niggas, that just meant they worked in the house. But some of them would actually sneak out food and would help other people. I would like to say that it's more of a mentality, right? Because there was some that worked with you, some that didn't. And some of us that are still overseers today who are quick to try and check Black people because they don't want you to talk bad about white folks or about massa, right? Then it's motherfuckers like Harriet Tubman who like, I don't give a fuck. I'm about to get up out of here. As you coming with me as you ain't coming with me, right? Then it's motherfuckers like Nat Turner, right? What in Nat Turner's? We love to tell that story, right? It was reality, but we love that fantasy story. Why we love that story? Do y'all know the real story of Nat Turner? Y'all know he killed the wives, the masses, and the babies. Y'all do know that, right? I do know that, right? Because his thing was, if you leave the goddamn babies, then they just gonna own us. If you leave their seeds, we still are owned by somebody. They will still breed. They will still succeed. If you're going to kill them, you got to kill them all. Now, I'm just telling you what Nat Turner said, right? And we love to fantasize that story. Nat Turner this, Nat Turner that. Where the Nat Turners at? See, we like the fantasy of that shit. But we lack the reality of what that really means. Do y'all know what a revolution looks like? A revolution is an overthrowing of the government. Do you know that that is against the Constitution? Even though the Constitution says you have the rights, they also have things in there, and they have equated laws to give you loopholes to basically tell you the right you have as citizens to overthrow the government, because the Constitution says that you do have that right. That if the government is doing things against its people, the people have the right to rise up against the government, tell the government they don't like this structure and they have to fix it. But there are also laws and things that have been put into place that if you try and do that, well, first of all, we got the Black identity extremists. You can't even fucking speak your mind, right? If you try and do that, it also says that you can be charged with crimes against the country, against all these different things, and you could spend like up to 27 years in prison for those charges, right? So, y'all really ready to ride or die? Just saying. Ask yourself that question, right? Do y'all know what a revolution looks like? Go look up revolutionary wars, right? You think that they marched? Y'all think they protested? Do you think that a revolution has ever been changed, that ever won with pieces of paper with words written on them? Find me one. Find me one. And then I'll say, well, maybe we could get free with paper signs and sticks and billboards and screaming and marching and protesting in the street. Show me one. I don't know any revolution that has ever been won that way. When you go study revolutions, what you will find is somebody's going to win, somebody's going to lose. But regardless of who wins or who loses, you know what happens? A lot of murder, a lot of death, a lot of blood, a lot of fire, a lot of destruction of shit. Because what happens in a revolution is everything the way it was usually becomes destroyed, right? Shit get tore the fuck up. People sacrifice lives and every goddamn thing else. And what happens is revolutions are usually fought in a manner that people understand that I might not be here to even enjoy the benefits of that revolution, but I fight on so that the next generation can receive the benefits of this revolutionary fight. How many of us are willing to commit to that extent? Now, when we talk about an uprising and we talk about a revolution against the government, ask yourself this. Now, we just talked about the government, right? We just talked about them. Do you really think that they're going to let us? Let's say everybody like, hell yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. Ride and die, bitch. Whatever happens, we about to get through, right? Make sure that our great grandkids got another country, right? That's better and different than the one we in right now. We're going to change this shit. Okay, let's everybody do that. So, shit start hitting the fan. We start trying to change shit. We start trying to overthrow the country, right? People get mad. Shit happens. They gonna call in the police. Police gonna start killing motherfuckers, right? They gonna start killing people. They gonna start trying to arrest people. What you gonna do? What you gonna do? You ready? You ready? You ready for them tanks coming down the street? Y'all know what martial law is? You think they just gonna let us do that? Y'all ready to go sit in them Walmarts where them immigrant kids is when they start taking everybody off the street because they done told you it's martial law, goddammit. Martial law means at a certain time, don't have your ass on these streets, right? So where are the homeless people going? They don't even have a home to go to, right? So what's gonna happen when they shut everything down and you can't go back and forth to work? You can't go nowhere. They say you keep your ass in. Don't be out here on these streets after a certain time. What's gonna happen? And if you're in a revolution, are we gonna all go in our houses nicely and like just watch TV and shit? We gonna go watch Jerry Springer because they told us to go in the house? Because that's not a revolution. We gonna get out on the streets and be like, fuck that shit, and we gonna fight it out. Am I right? And we gonna burn this bitch down. We're gonna all come to ashes and nothing. But I guarantee you one thing: out of the ashes, I don't know what will rise, but what I know for sure will rise will be something completely different than what we live in now. Right? Is we ready for that? I don't think we're ready for that. We're not ready for that, right? No vigilante, right? Thank you. Thank you. That is a great point, right? Somebody brought up Zimmerman. Y'all ain't ready for revolution. Y'all ain't even ready to deal with the motherfuckers who fuck us over and smile in your face all day long. Like, don't nobody want to do no crimes to no cops and shit. Like, oh no, I don't want to hurt a police officer. Like, they can fuck us up all day, but I'm not gonna do that, right? What is Zimmerman? He's not a police officer. I mean, at the very least, nobody like rock that nigga job. I'm just saying. But y'all ready for revolution? I don't think so. Because y'all think that shit is pretty. Y'all think revolutions start on social media, right? We think that that's what it is. We think we're going to march our way into some freedom, right? That's not going to happen, y'all. That's not going to happen. So are we ready for that, right? Do you know the government that you deal with? What you going to do if they tell you, we said, get your asses in the house. We said, get up off the street. We ain't playing shit no more. Don't you know they have the power to like, shut down all your internet services, all your TV, all of your electricity? So what you gonna do when all your food start going bad? What you gonna do when all the lights is out everywhere? What you gonna do when it's more white people that are armed than black people? But they won't tell you that shit. What you gonna do when more white people is armed than black people? Right? But more importantly, are they not the ones that's armed? Check this out. They are more equipped to use that shit. Because they 14-year-old sons and daughters been fucking hunting since they was 7. They know how to sit in the goddamn bush and take your ass out like a motherfucking army sniper. You ready? Or we just know how to plainly bust at cars and at houses because we want to do drive-bys. I don't give a fuck if you got a gun. If you don't know what you're doing with that gun, if you're not trained with your equipment, you are no match for the white little girl with her pink AK-47 rifle that's been her best friend and she been using since she was 10. You ain't no match for her, brother. With your wild busting at your enemy, that's why you hit 10 motherfuckers at the park with the target you was trying to hit. We ain't ready. I don't give a damn if you strapped. You ain't ready. And I just was like, I can't live like this anymore. And so I dedicated all of my time to studying the enemy first and foremost. Not studying black people, right? Studying the enemy and what they do to us, how they do it to us, why they do it to us, because that is where you have to start, right? And there's a whole lot we can do to combat those things that they do to us, right? But I just want everybody to understand that part of that warfare, and the last day, we will talk about the fact that if we first can unify, right? If we first can bring these things together and get them to actually happen, and as a collective, we start implementing all of these things, I just want you to understand as Black people to study your history, okay? Study your history. Because the truth of the matter is, if we build it, they're coming to destroy it. They're coming for everything that we have built. They are going to knock it down because they need somebody's backs to thrive off of in this country, and that is ours. So if we decide to get up and get their boot off of our back, what will they have left? They're not letting us go that easy, y'all. Right? So even if we build it, they coming to take it. They coming to destroy it. And the question is, are we ready to defend it? Are we ready to stand in it? Because we can do it. We are the answer, and we can build everything. And even if we did it, it's gonna be a hard task, y'all. But I do not believe that it is impossible. It can be done, right? But I want you to know that even after we put in all the work, and we get to a point where we obtain new systems and new structures in our community, so that we don't have to depend on white systems and white structures, and we are trying to find some freedom through finances and just everything else that our communities need. They're not just going to let us do that. They are going to come and take it from us. They are going to kill us, and they are going to destroy us. And that is not Mechee's opinion. That is facts about history. So my question is, are we going to get the fuck up and do what we need to do? And as getting up and doing what we need to do, are we willing to defend it when we rise to the level that we need to be? Right?
Everything cool?
Because that's what it's going to take. So I'm going to need everybody to let that sink in a little minute, think about it. So with that said, like, I love the hell out of y'all. I'm mad that they cut off my first video. Ain't a damn thing we can do about it, y'all. Yeah, right? Hit the thumbs up on this video for me, y'all. Share this on your social media. I thank y'all for tuning in. I love y'all to life. I stand with you until death.
I guess I'm in the stairway.
Motherfucking y'all be good.
All right, yeah, I went to go donate. Ooh, look at that green. Yeah.